So I think it's important to make a distinction between uncomfortable situations and conversations and dangerous ones. And I've gotten this question in several different variations recently. I was asked after my second TEDx talk something to the effect of, what happens when the person across from you is actively trying to take away your rights or your freedoms? Things like that. And that's just one variation of this question that I've gotten recently that I want to expand upon. So let me start on the dangerous side of things. I'm not advocating for us to go into dangerous situations, into dangerous confrontations with people, where the situation may be dangerous physically, most likely, or it could be dangerous in other ways, perhaps emotionally. That's not what I'm advocating for. If the situation is dangerous, where there is a likelihood of harm to ourselves, certainly physically, I'm not advocating for us to step into those situations and even seek those out. But what I am advocating for, and where there is a difference, is uncomfortable situations. Those situations where uh, we may not feel direct danger or threat to us, but that the situation may be morally uncomfortable or ideologically dangerous, to use that phrase, even though I don't know that it's completely relevant here, where our views and our beliefs are challenged and they give us that kind of icky feeling or gross feeling, or perhaps even more so, more relevant to us, they give us that angry feeling, that feeling as though we're being attacked when actually perhaps our ideas are being attacked, yes, but physically we're fine. Those are actually the situations that I'm advocating we step into and place ourselves in and seek out, even to bring about understanding of each other. And we have to be honest here. We have to be honest about labeling things uncomfortable versus dangerous. Is something truly dangerous? Or is it just simply uncomfortable and we want to run away from it? You know, a situation where you're arguing over freedoms, perhaps, here in this country. And I understand, I'm coming at this from a position of privilege. I'm coming at it from a perspective that I will feel less threatened in certain situations, in many situations, than people of color or people of a different gender. That's true, and I acknowledge that. But even so, I've had many conversations with people who look very differently and act and come from very different backgrounds, very differently than me, where they're saying the same things and they're advocating for the same things. Again, not to step into dangerous situations, but to step into uncomfortable situations where, yes, perhaps our views are being threatened, but not in a dangerous way, at the expense of repeating myself here. So what I want us to focus on here is, again, labeling things correctly and being honest with ourselves. While it may feel threatening, is it dangerous or is it uncomfortable? And then, if it is uncomfortable, then we have to be honest and go in with a different approach, perhaps. And what I mean by that is thinking or asking the question, what do I have control over in this situation? Do I have the ability to unilaterally force this person across from me who believes differently than I do, who's threatening my way of life or my beliefs or my freedoms, what have you? Do I have the unilateral control to force them to believe as I believe, or to do the things that I want them to do? And if the answer is no, then we have to take a different approach. We have to take one where we get more curious with them, where understanding that understanding does not equal agreement, that simply understanding someone's viewpoint does not mean that you condone or believe in that, but that you're trying to find those commonalities, those elements of common ground, where you can begin to move the conversation forward to where it no longer is uncomfortable or threatening. I want us to understand that in the absence of control, the unilateral ability to force someone into a different behavior or action, we have to take a different approach to how we go into these conversations. My second TEDx talk was all about peacemaking versus peacekeeping. Peacekeeping is pushing yourself away from uncomfortable conversations and sort of pretending like those things don't exist, or just wishing for the control to force those things out of existence. And that so rarely happens for so many of us. And a peacemaker seeks out those uncomfortable conversations. They seek out those uncomfortable situations, not the dangerous ones, the uncomfortable ones, where they can begin to make a difference by giving someone the space, holding space for someone, by asking questions, by assuming perhaps positive intent, even if you morally disagree with it. Assuming that they have positive intent, how would that change your approach to conversations, to uncomfortable conversations? Yes, there is a difference between discomfort or uncomfortable conversations and dangerous ones. And I am not advocating for us to step into danger, but I am advocating for us to step into uncomfortable conversations and change our approach to those conversations.